Hi everyone, I am Gautam Dev.
My name is Ram.
My name is Ashwin Kumar.
I'm Vinay.
Yeah. Our topic is solar cells. Uh, Basically, what is a solar cell? A solar cell is a device which converts light in the energy present in this light, not only sunlight, every kind of light, uh, into an electrical energy through a process of photovoltaic effect. What is word photovoltaic means? Photo means light, and voltaic means electricity, which converts sunlight directly into the electricity. That is a basic meaning of photovoltaic. The conversion of solar energy to electrical energy is done using a module of several group of cells connected electrically and packaged into a frame more commonly known as a solar panel. I give a basic idea what happens in a solar cell. When light from the sunlight touches the material, the solar panel or everything, the electrons present in the material will be ejected, and these electrons will be captured by this some other material, and the movement of electrons is called electricity, and we capture the electricity from the movement of the electron. That's what basically happens in a solar cell. And this is a very is in around 400 BC, I think so. Greeks and Romans used this kind of technology. There is no this is only written in it, but anyone has no idea how they done it. And they used for heating buildings, water, growing vegetables in greenhouses, and they say that Greek Archimedes used solar energy to reduce the Roman navy to ashes by having soldiers reflect sunlight of their shields towards Roman sails. They say that, but I don't know exactly, but it's written in books. Yeah, it's written in books. And the first solar cell was invented by American Charles Fritz in 1883, and this one is only 1% efficient, and it can only convert the energy present in the light only 1% into electrical energy. The basic theme of this thing is used by many other civilizations. Sorry, this solar energy is used by many other earlier civilizations, not only Greeks and Romans like Chinese, Anasazi and Pueblo. The idea was given by French physicist Antonio Caesar in 1839. He observed by when a shining light on an electrode submerged in a conductor solution would create an electric current. This is a basic concept which gave an idea of solar energy. We can convert light from energy in light to the electrical energy. This. In 1941, Russell Lowell invented the silicon solar cell, and in 1954, three Americans, Gerald Pearson, Calvin Fuller, and Dale Chapin, discovered the use of silicon as a semiconductor, which semiconductor is a device made by silicon, which is used for capturing the light, and this thing is 6% efficient rather than the one made by Fritz, which is 1%. And in 1956, first commercial solar cells were made available to the public, and it's very expensive. Like it's about $300 per watt. So, and remaining will be continued by my colleague.
What actually is I'll continue with this. What actually is a solar cell? A solar cell works on the principle of photoelectric effect. Photoelectric effect is photoelectric effect is carried on special metals like silicon, doped with some impurities, basically phosphorus or boron. It's like it works like when a light or some light energy hits the surface of the silicon material, the electrons present on the outer side of the shell gets freed up with the energy, and they move freely, and these moving free electrons produce current. As we all know that current is nothing but motion of electrons. The properties that silicon has are it has 14 free electrons in its three different shells. Pure silicon cannot it forms a crystalline structure which is stable so when a light energy hits the silicon surface, if electrons doesn't get freed easily, it needs much energy. So to loosen these electrons, we dope it with phosphorus or boron. For phosphorus, which has 5 free electrons, is doped with silicon, and we have some 5 free electrons in the outer shell. So when light energy hits these surfaces, these electrons get freed and they move freely, and the electricity is generated. And the electricity is being stored into cells by drawing the PV cell. The PV cell is being kept with metal contacts on the top and the bottom, and it is connected to a battery. We can store it in a battery, or we can directly use it. The solar cells can be made easily at homes too if we have the required materials. The solar cell has p-type and n-type materials in that. It has a junction in between those layers, and the transfer of electrons is done from p to n. It's like p electrons can flow from p to n, but n electrons cannot flow from n to p. So there is a junction in between. The electricity flows inside the junction, and it is collected and can be used. The generation of electricity can be seen. It's not working. It's actually it was a video how a solar cell works, and I think it had some problem playing that. Maybe I will find it out in the end.
And I'm going to talk about the applications of solar cells. Firstly, the introduction to solar cell applications. Alongside a variety of consumer products like electronic watches, calculators, and power of leisure equipment and tourism, there is an extensive range of applications where solar cells are already viewed as the best option of electric supply. And some of the advantages of solar cell applications are there are no fuel cost or fuel supply problems, and the equipment can usually operate unattended, and the solar cells are very reliable and require little maintenance. And the applications are the rural electrification, which means solar power, which provides rural areas around the world with an efficient source of energy. The provision of electricity to rural areas derives important social and economic benefits to remote communities throughout the world. Power supplies to remote houses or villages, electrification of the healthcare facilities, irrigations and water supply, and the treatment are just few examples of such applications. The UN estimates that 2 million villages with 20% of the equator have neither grid electricity nor easy access to fossil fuel. It is also eliminated that the 80% of all people in the world do not have any electricity, with a large number of these peoples living in climates ideally suited to the photovoltaic applications. Even in Europe, several hundreds of thousands of families where there is permanent occupation do not have access to grid electricity. And the next one is domestic supply, which we use in our home. It can serve as a source of electricity for a home. Nowadays, intelligent concepts of housing are being developed which can sustain itself. There is no need then to pay your monthly power bills, and the photovoltaic arrays mounted on the rooftops offers the possibility of large-scale power generation in decentralized, medium-sized, grid-connected units. The main advantages of this distribution system are large photovoltaic plants are as follows. There is no cost in buying the land and preparing the site, and the transmission losses are much lower because the load is on the same site as the supply. And the next application is the healthcare one. In the whole world, the whole world is fighting against common diseases like vaccination, something. And to be effective, the program must provide immunization for the people in the rural areas. So if in the service, all vaccinations have to be kept in a strictly temperature range through transportation and storage. The provision of refrigerator for this aim is known as the vaccination cold change. We have to use a refrigerator which works with the solar energy. And the next one is lightning. In terms of number of installations, lightning is presently the biggest application of photovoltaic cells. Within some thousands of units installed worldwide, they are mainly used to provide lighting for domestic or community buildings such as schools, health centers, and community buildings, offices. And the photovoltaic also being increasingly used for the lighting streets and tunnels for this, and also for the security purpose lighting. And the last one is electric power generated in space. The photovoltaic solar generator have been and will retain the best choice for providing the electric power to satellite in an orbit around the Earth. Indeed, the use of solar cells on the US satellite Vanguard 1 in 1958 demonstrated beyond the doubt the first practical applications of photovoltaics. And these are some of the applications of the solar cells. Thank you. And Vinay.
This is how a PV cell, the photovoltaic cell or the solar cell works.
Solar cells convert sunlight directly into electricity. We start with sand, which is processed into highly purified silicon. In a process called doping, trace amounts of special impurities are added to this purified silicon. For example, when silicon is doped with boron, the resultant material is called p-type. When silicon is doped with phosphorus, the resultant material is called n-type. When pure silicon is doped with both boron and phosphorus in just the right way, a p-n junction is formed. This process establishes a permanent electric field in the crystal. When a p-n junction is made so that light can strike its top surface and metal conductors are attached to the p and n-type sides, a solar cell is formed. When sunlight strikes the solar cells, electrons are ejected from the atoms and the permanent electric field in the junction steers them to the n-type side. If a wire is connecting both sides of the solar cell, electric current can flow whenever sunlight is striking the solar cell.
I have a question for you, Ashwini. You say 80%, 80%.
Yeah, 80%.
People of the world don't have.
The 80% of people worldwide do not have electricity.
So worldwide, globally, 80% of the people.
Solar.
Solar electricity.
Solar, we are talking about solar, not regular electricity, we are talking about solar power.
Solar. So we have electricity, but not solar.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
What we want to say is the reach of this technology. What we want to intend is that this technology, though it is so promising and though it gives us cheap source and a renewable source, which could replace our crisis now, it is only reaching 20% of the whole, not even 20% of the whole population. So.
It's mainly because of the initial costs to get this
Technology.
implemented.
Yeah, I would like to conclude this presentation with by talking about the future of this technology. The future actually seems very promising, though just like any other technology, it has many hurdles in front of it, and the main hurdle being cost. About a decade ago, it would have costed a kilowatt of power, approximate cost of $350. So it is not what every common man can afford. So the main thing which I would suggest is subsidies provided by the government and the local companies which are into this business, without which I don't think it will ever be able to hit the streets. In the pictures above, we see solar panels lining the rooftops of houses, but this is just a conceptual house. Maybe we could count them on fingers, but we could imagine the whole city being lined up like that, but it's really costly. This is a photo actually of a small town in Japan where the researchers started experimenting by just building a row of houses with these on their rooftops. And this is what he said. This is how it is. This is the refrigerator, the mobile unit, and how the solar panels are being used in the mobile units. So actually, we are living in a world where information technology rules everything. Whatever we want can be achieved on the web. So those type of technologies connect more often and much easily to the public than these ones. The only thing which we see in news is that some researcher has a breakthrough in this technology and a new type of silicon, maybe nanoscale silicon are used, nanotechnology is being used everywhere, but it never connects to the public. The only thing that connects is marvels like the iPhones, the iPads, and only such stuff which are more catchy to the eye. These are the ones which take a longer time and which is much difficult to accomplish. If governments invest in this kind of technology, it would be a gift for the next generation, because if we do not act now, all our resources will get depleted soon, and soon there will be nothing left for our children to come. This is a one-liner which I wrote. This is my impression. This was the rock which fell on my face when I did this. The future is cloudy, but clouds with a silver lining. So,
We clap our hands for this.
thank you. We are open for any doubts, comments, discussion, whatever.
Any doubts or comments? Where is the microphone? Okay. Anybody need the microphone? I know. I have a question regarding what Ashwini, I think, you mentioned about vaccination. What vaccination has to do with...
No, that's not about the vaccination.
It's not,
That's about the refrigerators,
Yes.
which are run by the solar cells.
Run on the solar cell.
On the solar cells.
Okay.
There are some places in India where we can't have electricity, and we have some places in Rajasthan where we don't have electricity. It's all sunlight.
Yes. So
So-
medicine.
so the medicine should be,
which runs
should
with
be made-
solar energy.
The medicine should be maintained at a particular temperature.
Yes,
So to maintain the temperature, we don't have electricity there to keep it refrigerated.
very good.
So they use, you can see it in the picture, they use camels to move around the places. So they use the solar cell technology to refrigerate the medicines.
To keep the refrigerators working,
Yeah.
to keep the vaccines in the...
So-
Yeah.
Very good.
This one's from our country. We just wanted to put one application from India.
Very good.
So this is a picture. This is from an online article which we actually searched for, and this is from India.
Very good. We clap our hands for this also.
My question is, does these layers of energy and later
No, they
have
don't.
It just produces electricity. It makes the flow of electrons, and the current is produced in the junction there, and it's being transferred to. You can use it directly, or you can store it in a capacitor or something.
We can't store the energy.
It's
We can store
instant,
it.
but then it has some capacitor or something.
Yeah, we can store it in batteries.
Oh, okay. Right.
You can use inverters and batteries to manage power supply in the house.
So what about winters?
We can use it.
We can use any light, not only sunlight. On a cloudy day, we'll get, if you use 10 meters of the cells on your top, we will get an 800 watts of energy on a cloudy day.
Which is sufficient for
Yeah, it's sufficient for a 3-story building.
Okay, very good. Other questions, comments? If not, let's give them a hand.